When you finish your intense training session, internally your body is going to behave like this. On the other hand, when you have recovered well, you have slept well, your body is going to behave like this. So what are these two states of the human body? We are going to understand exactly the same in this video. What's up guys? Welcome to another video at Movement Mechanics, and today we are going to talk about the anabolism and catabolism of the human body. So let's dive deep inside this topic and understand some movement mechanics. How does catabolism happens in the body, or exercise induced catabolism happens in the body? Now, when the body is undergoing stress, there is various release of adrenal hormones. So out of these adrenal hormones, we are going to talk about primarily two hormones, which is cortisol and adrenaline, or the epinephrine and non-epinephrine hormones, or also known as catecholamines. So first talk about cortisol. Now cortisol is primarily a stress hormone. So whenever there is stress in the body, cortisol is released from the adrenal medulla. So what happens with cortisol is primarily used for metabolism of carbohydrates. Now carbohydrates is a primary source of energy for which system? Of course the glycolytic system as well as the oxidative system. Now in order for the oxidative and the glycolytic system to work, you need glucose. So the metabolism of carbohydrates happens with the help of cortisol. So cortisol is an important catabolic hormone which metabolizes carbohydrates so that you gain energy with the help of glucose. Secondly, before we start any workout session, we are doing warm-ups in order to activate our muscles, increase the body temperature, mobilize our joint, and of course potentiate our body in order to trigger that central nervous system. Now once this triggering of the central nervous system happens, it is the adrenaline which is released. Even also the cortisol is also released over here, but from the adrenaline hormone perspective, we are going to talk about the triggering of the central nervous system. Now once this trigger happens, your adrenaline is released, and once adrenaline is released, you are at complete attention. Your eyes get big, you are in a completely fight or flight scenario. Now what does flight or fight mean? That you can lift weights, you can lift heavy weights, your body is ready to encounter enough amount of stress. Now here, for example, let's say you've got a lion staring at you. At that time there is going to be excess amount of adrenaline release and you are going to run like a bullet. So why does this happen? Because there is a fight or flight scenario going on into the body because of adrenaline. Now what does adrenaline do? Now adrenaline helps in mobilization of your fat cells. Adrenaline helps in triggering of your central nervous system so that you get into that fight or flight scenario. Now this is the reason that these two hormones are critical for the human body. However, having constant chronic catabolic state or having high levels of cortisol, especially the hormone cortisol, is not good for the body. Now having excessive high levels of chronic cortisol can be resulting from excess pressure, excessive amount of stress which comes from the outside. May it be your family stress, may it be your financial stress, stuff like that. Now this high levels of cortisol are not good for your body because there is going to be lots of muscle breakdown, there is going to be lots of carbohydrate utilization which is not needed for the body, and hence you are going to eat more carbs, and that is going to lead to obesity, that can lead to diabetes, stuff like that. So having chronic cortisol level high is not good for the body. On the other hand, having chronic adrenaline level high is also not good for the body, because if adrenaline is high, that means your central nervous system is working like a maniac, and hence you are not going to have sleep, you are not going to attain any peace. For example, let's say you are not able to sleep in the night. There can be various reasons, but I am going to take the example of adrenaline. Now you have done a workout which ends at 9 p.m. in the night. Now you cannot go directly onto the bed at 10 o'clock and think of sleeping, because your adrenaline is so high. It requires at least 3 to 4 hours for the adrenaline to come back to normal levels, and hence you can go to sleep later. So if you wish to sleep at 10 p.m. after completing your workout just 1 hour before, you are not going to go sleep because your central nervous system is acting at a very high level. Now we understood the catabolic hormones. Now let's understand our anabolic hormones, which are going to speed up recovery, which are going to give you the benefits, what is required for adaptations to occur in the human body. So the first and the most impressive anabolic hormone is of course our beloved testosterone. Now testosterone is important for recovery, it is important for increasing force production, it is important for muscle recovery, muscle protein synthesis, it is important for increasing that muscular size. Secondly, another anabolic hormone which is critical is our growth hormone. Now growth hormone is important for overall growth in the body, may it be muscle growth, may it be skeletal growth, as we have talked in our previous video, which is performance enhancement substances. If you want to know more about this video, make sure you are clicking the I button at the top corner of this screen. So now these two hormones are anabolic hormone. That means they lead to adaptation in the human body. Now these hormones are critical after catabolism in the human body. Now let's take a practical example over here. Now you are doing a heavy squat. You are doing a squat close to your 1 RM, say 90. Let's say you're doing a squat of 1 RM over here, 100% of your 1 RM. Now in order to produce force, there is going to be release of testosterone. There is going to be release of growth hormone as well. But at the same time, because the body is under excessive stress, there is going to be release of cortisol as well in order to mobilize that carbohydrates. There is going to be release of adrenaline as well in order to wake up that central nervous system. So all these hormones, may it be anabolic hormones or may it be catabolic hormones, are activated during our exercise. But the trick happens after your exercise. Always post your training session, you need to be in an anabolic state and not a catabolic state. If you are in a catabolic state, that means your muscle breakdown is more than your muscle recovery and adaptations are not going to happen, and you may go under overtraining or you may feel fatigue and you may become close to a very severe injury. So you have to be in an anabolic state post your training session. Now the question arises, how to switch your body or how to turn your body from a catabolic state to an anabolic state. The answer is very simple: nutrition. Now post your training session, there is going to be muscle protein breakdown, there is going to be ATP-CP depletion, there is going to be carbohydrate depletion, there is going to be wear and tear in your bones and much more things. So your nutrition is going to help you turn that body from a catabolic state into an anabolic state. For example, so there is a golden window of 1 hour when there is maximum amount of blood flow towards your muscle. As the muscles have just worked, so the brain knows that these muscles need more and more nutrition. Hence the blood flow would be maximum for a period of 1 to 1.5, that is 1.5 hours after your training session. So at that time, if you take your nutrition properly, if you take your creatine, if you take your proteins properly, there is going to be maximum anabolism in the human body. So it is important to time your nutrition as well. Of course, the window is as long as for 48 hours, but as time goes on, the blood flow towards the muscle is going to be reduced, and hence that protein synthesis of the muscles or creatine synthesis in the muscle is going to take much longer as compared to the initial 1.5 hours. As I said at the start of the video, that proper structured training programs are critical for maintaining that anabolic state in the human body, because if there is no proper structure, then there is not going to be any supercompensation. When I mean by proper structure, it is the periodization. If you want to know more about periodization, click the I button at the screen. So if you are not going to periodize your training program, that means you are going to just keep on increasing the load for long period of time. You are undergoing overtraining, and once you undergo overtraining, of course the body is not going to get recovered and there is going to be lots of breakdown. That means the body would be in catabolic state, and hence if the body is in catabolic state, there will be no adaptation. Hence you need to periodize your training programs very well in order to get that deload week coming into the picture, so that your body gets the adaptation and supercompensation. Now what does supercompensation mean? I'm going to brief on this slightly in this video right now. If you want a thorough video on supercompensation, drop that in the comment section. So what does supercompensation mean is, for instance, I'm going to talk in grams. Let's say your bicep muscle, for instance, has got a capacity of storing 25 grams of creatine. Now you do exercise, you do lots of bicep curls, intense amount of bicep curls, you do voluminous work, and the bicep muscle undergoes wear and tear for, let's say, 3 weeks. Now you do a deload week and you are taking creatine as well. So the capacity of storing creatine in the bicep muscle has gone from 25 to 30 grams because there is supercompensation happening. So when supercompensation happens, all the stores of proteins, creatine, carbohydrates are increasing in the human body, and you can use these excessive stores in order to lift heavy or do that extra mile in your training sessions. So that is the reason you need to periodize your training programs very well. Now there is something called as testosterone to cortisol ratio, which determines whether your body is anabolic state or catabolic state. Now my question to all of you is, if you know the exact ratio of testosterone to cortisol in the human body, drop that in the comment section. I want to know what are your thoughts, and I'm going to share a short video on this as well in the upcoming week, so that you also know what is my answer regarding testosterone to cortisol ratio and how does it affect our catabolism and anabolism in the human body. I hope you guys have understood the concept of anabolism and catabolism, or should I say crying of the body post your training sessions and smiling of the body after your recovery session. I hope you have understood all the hormones involved in catabolic activities and anabolic activities, and why periodized training programs are critical for maintaining that anabolic state in the human body. Also, don't forget to drop your comments for that supercompensation video which I want to post in the future. Okay guys, if you have loved this video, make sure you hit the like, the share, the subscribe, as well as the notification bell icon so that you never miss a video whenever I'm uploading a new one. Also, if you have got any doubts or comments regarding this video, or if you have got any other video suggestions which you want to cover in the future, make sure you drop that in the comment section as well. Thank you guys for watching the video till the very end. See you in the next one.